Alright, I don't think it's going to rain, but again, I came prepared just in case, just like what happened yesterday. You guys actually had some interesting comments just about flying traditional planes, which made me actually think about something that I heard about before, which I'll talk about a little later, because I was wondering if it was actually useful for like a drone flyer like myself. I don't know if this is breaking news, but according to this, apparently XJet runs a buggy whip factory. Okay. Actually, in many ways, it makes me wonder if cars were like that. Like when it was first introduced, did people have the same kind of apprehension about it as they do with the drones right now? There's actually a lot of interesting drone stuff I read today that caught my attention. The first one was just something about Amazon patenting a parachute for a shipping label. I guess drone deliveries coming sooner than we thought for some places, or maybe that's just to anticipate for the future. I actually think that's pretty cool if they can actually do drone deliveries. I actually don't know how it's going to take place like in the busier cities and all, because I think the only place they tested was somewhere in Europe because it's like an open field. And from what I remember, it was something about people putting an Amazon branded mat or something like that, so the drone recognizes where to drop the item. So this is kind of cool, although it makes me wonder, does this mean you have to return the parachute afterwards when you get it delivered? And then there was something about Snapchat buying a drone company. I was like, whoa, what's that all about? I think probably even they recognize drones are just the way it is, right? Like when people are going to be using their cameras and all that. So to me anyways, it's kind of good because that increases the, I guess, the awareness of a drone, what it's all about, and the fact that if an everyday guy is going to use it, then hopefully, again, like laws will be more reasonable, especially places like here in Canada. Everyone's probably already seen this one, but it was something about a guy landing his drone, like his human skateboard drone, if that's what you want to call it, into the stadium during a game. Now here it says football, but here we call it soccer. Actually, I was watching other videos of that drone guy too, doing like kind of a performance around the water area, and people were all around him, and it seemed like, again, people were okay with it. It just makes me wonder why, like here specifically in Canada, people are so freaked out over the drones. Makes you wonder why people in other countries are so fine with drones with that huge of a blade and all that, yet for here we're afraid of 250-gram drones. I think this was actually a really interesting comment too. Polly, you were saying you just came to Canada, I guess, to visit, and you were disappointed in how the coverage of aerodomes and all that basically makes drone flying like you can't do it anywhere pretty much. Welcome to Canada, that's the way it is. And again, like most people don't realize how ridiculous it is until you actually come here and realize it in an everyday life. And yeah, you basically can't fly anywhere pretty much. So you're asking for myself, how do I fly? I mean, for this, it's a daily vlog. If you guys don't see me flying a drone, like in the day, I basically didn't fly it. Because in general, as you guys noticed, the only time you've been seeing actual flying drone videos is when I go out on hikes, like in the middle of nowhere. And that's basically how I can fly at the moment. Unfortunately, I can't fly anywhere, like in open fields and stuff, as I did before, because I used to actually fly it every day. Or another way to put it, in terms of flying drones in the airspace, these geese have more rights than the Canadian public to fly in the airspace. Just the way it is at the moment. So hopefully, even for people like yourself, you'll help spread the message to just how ridiculous like the drone laws are here. Although in terms of drone flying, that Mavic Pro battery is supposed to arrive tomorrow, so maybe I'll try to fly it indoors or something like that just to test to see if the battery works or if DJI actually gave me a good one this time. It's too bad too, because I think to raise the awareness, they need people like myself to get out there to fun places where I can fly, like here. Like for example, because people need to see it. So that leads me to the topic of yesterday, which basically I talked about how I felt it's silly if a commercial pilot, for example, is saying ban all the drones just because they feel the technology is a threat to their jobs. I thought this comment was actually really interesting from Randy. You said you're an FPV pilot and at the same time you are a private pilot, like with a license, and you were saying how in the past you were giving people free rides, I guess, in the plane just to show them what it's like. And you've only done it with about 3 people, but for some reason, I guess, commercial companies deemed you as what you were doing were illegal and you were in a sense fined for that. I just thought that was so interesting. Like, I'm no aviation expert because again, like for me, I only got involved in the hobby when the Mavic Pro came out because I bought it as a camera. But it makes me think, like, for this, like in context to talking about how a person feels threatened by the drones, that they'll lose their jobs. Like in this case, is the whole industry just like that in general? Or is this just like an isolated incident where, like, for example, there's a company that they just want to have the exclusive rights to everything, so in any way they can, they will get people shut down just because they want to be the only person that can do it. It actually made me think because before drones and all that, I was reading in the news how there was something called like Air Fund or Airtime Canada or something like that, where a person was actually letting people fly a plane for free just to give them the experience of it, because most people, they don't have the opportunity to do it, or it's too intimidating. So it was kind of surprising for me to hear that there's actually companies or whatever that would say, no, you're not allowed to let people fly for free. It made me think too in terms of talking about the topic of who's better at flying a drone, someone that is used to doing stuff with tech and all that, or someone that has a traditional aviation background. Because it made me wonder, would it help, for example, a drone flyer like me to actually like fly airplanes like this, to get the knowledge of it? Like, would that help me in any way? Because my general thought with hobbies and stuff in general, I mean, sometimes it's good to go back to the roots, if that makes sense, so you understand the basics. It gives you a better appreciation for what you're doing. At the same time, it could give you a knowledge of things that you might not be aware of. Or at the same time, it might give me a different perspective, because like I know for me, like, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but with all these things of drone sightings this and drone sightings that, and the conversation of yesterday, like what Unlimited Vertical said, like, which was my point about the drone flying up the air, you can't catch up to the jet, for example. Like, how can you as a pilot see like this small little dot? Like, why are you so afraid of the little tiny Mavic to make the law so ridiculous? So it made me wonder, like, if I was to fly a plane like this with someone, would that give me a perspective of how dangerous it is for a drone, or is that the less of their worries? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume if I did do something like this, like for fun, it would be more about just getting perspective of what a pilot sees, like from their point of view, and how much stress they potentially go through. At the same time, just to see how true or untrue it is that they can actually see a drone that's, that far away and all that. But to my knowledge, with this program in particular, I don't think it's free anymore. And I know for people like myself, like, flying a plane, like, what are you talking about? That's not even like my interest in general. So they'd have to offer it something that's really user friendly, or like what they had before, free, for me to kind of take the jump and to try it out. Because I think in many ways that's how the drones have to be too. Just more people being out in the public, showing them what a drone's like, letting them fly it. But it's unfortunate, like I said, the laws, it actually stops you from doing that. I was even watching some of the videos that these people had in their site on the routes they let people fly around. I was like, holy smokes, people are okay with people flying around like a huge plane in this distance, yet you're terrified with a drone, for example. Like, to me, again, I was like, it doesn't make sense. And hey, if anyone knows around the area here where you can get experiences like that for free, let me know. I think it'd be actually interesting and educational in many ways. Again, I don't know how much it'll actually help you to be a safer flyer in a sense, because again, in my mind, it's a completely different skill set to fly a drone in an airplane, but I think it's good to have the perspective as well. Oh, I think the rain's actually coming down too. Right, early, but I guess it's a wrap up the day for now. Right, see you guys later.